Hello, avid readers, book nerds, and casual observers. Welcome to the Read Along, brought to you by the Lit Roundtable. I'm Anna.
And I'm Joseph, and today we are talking about Hall of Smoke by H.M. Long. All right, welcome to week 6 of Hall of Smoke. 7 weeks. I even read week 7 on my screen, and I still said 6. So, in shame, I'll leave it in, just so that people know that just happened. Week 7.
Week 7
of Hall of Smoke. So, there's a lot of, the plot thickens even more.
We're so close to having answers, and yet so far away.
We were given quite a few answers, but the answers beget more questions. So
yes.
It's...
And maybe the answers were lies, so...
And now there's like a decision to be made about how to proceed, which people decide with. Who are even good guys in this? I don't even know if there are any. I think it's just everybody's self-interests colliding and clashing, and Hessa's just caught up in this crazy divine struggle.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah. She talks to a lot of gods in this section.
She really does.
We had an Ing encounter. We had a...
Gad, the
God
all
encounter. Mm-hmm. And we had a Stiga encounter. They were creepy.
A new one.
They're a god of the old world.
Yeah. Up there with Ashkelon and whatever.
Uh-huh. And we didn't see Lathian, but a lot more talk about Lathian.
Yeah. The storm goddess was mentioned, and
yes.
Her baby didn't make it, and that's sad, which means that winter's going to be a tough time because like her baby is part of like the bounty of like food and stuff, so that's going to be a bummer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also mention of Frur. I think I just said the same word twice. F-R-I-R. Freer, yes.
Yeah.
Just a mention by God.
Oh,
Gad
was that
was
Ing's
like
sister or something? I don't recall.
No, I think she's another. Oh, maybe.
Because Ing had a sister that was like a traitor, and Ing took her out, and that's like where the owls come from, because the owls were her thing apparently. That was like, it might have been an offhanded thing that Hessa said in her brain. I don't know.
Oh no, I think Gad mentioned her that he had asked, or she had told him about Hessa or something.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. Lots of gods again.
Oh yeah. For the first little bit, it's just a lot of her kind of going out and trying to get to. So she's on a mission now to get to this weird white lake. I keep picturing it as like a lake of milk, and it's really gross.
Oh, you're making it weirder than it needs to be.
I know. It's
just a lake
full of milk.
No. Ew.
But it's white.
Gross.
Yeah. She's trying to get to where Omaskat's going so that she can take him out. And in the process of getting there, she has all these crazy, wacky encounters. The sequence of them escapes me which one was like first, but
Ing was first.
Okay, Ing is first
because she gets confirmation that that's where she needs to go from Ing. And we also find out that Ing also doesn't know where Zvala is, the high priestess.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great.
And she didn't even know that her own son had come back.
Yeah, and that really ticked her off. She got out of Dodge when his name came up. She was like, "What?" And then she left.
This was, I think, my favorite Ing encounter, because it was like humbling for Ing, I think, because
Oh
she
yeah.
kept asking like, "Who told you that? How do you know about vestiges? All this stuff." And it's like, "Ha, that's right. Our girl's grown up and she knows things, and now you can't act all high and mighty with all your secrets and whatever."
Right. Yeah.
Um,
How did you get into the high halls? I was drugged, and you didn't help me.
yeah. Shouldn't you have
Uh,
known, since you're like my patron, you're my deity? Shouldn't you have like helped me in some way? Guess not. But guess who did? Your kid. Your son told me to eat all this stuff and now I'm magical.
I
She
don't
didn't
think she
say that.
actually revealed
But
that. No.
no, she did not. But I wanted her to just be like, "Ha, look at me
Yeah.
now, mom."
Yeah. No, she doesn't reveal that, which is good because later on she's asked by, like, Gad asks her, does Aang know that you've been eating from the high halls? And she doesn't respond. And then Omaskat's like, how's that working out for you with your Ingy fire?
Yeah. It's not mixing well, is it?
Yeah. And she's like, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
And then it cuts off, so we don't get those answers yet.
Yeah.
It cuts off as in the chapter ends, and that just is the arbitrary place that I said was our break for the sections. So it's my own fault.
Accidental cliffhanger.
That's what
But
you get with
yeah.
these read alongs all along the way. Accidental cliffhangers.
Yep. But yeah, I really like that first interaction with Ing, and she just kind of reinforced go kill Omaskat, because we learned that Omaskat is trying to bring back this god killer thing that can take people out, and he's killing him is going to like put a stop to it, question mark. um I'm still a little fuzzy on like uh the
I think
mechanics of that, how killing him will actually help, but
I think that when Hessa actually gets to sit down with Omaskat, which hopefully is in the next chapter, um, that she will get to hear from him what his actual plan is. Because I don't know that Ing or Gad or Ogam have any idea what his actual plan is. I think they're just guessing.
yeah. Yeah.
And they're scared because whatever he's doing is threatening to them because they can't touch him. I think that wigs them out more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Gad. I'm a little perplexed by that because when she talks to Gad, he reveals that Omaskat gave him Vistik the baby to take care of. Um, so that makes it
Yeah.
seem like Gad and Omaskat are like kind of on good terms.
Well, I think Omaskat may have been an Elgat person at one point.
Okay.
So maybe like ex deity, and they're still
Yeah,
close. They still
maybe.
talk. They're still friends.
But
Um,
if whatever Omaskat is trying to do is as threatening as Ing and the ARPA that are the Lathian people,
mhm.
the Lathian. I'm drawing a blank on the word I want to use, bud.
The
Zealots.
oh
The
oh
Zealots.
okay.
So that's Telios and his dudes.
Hmm.
Um, if whatever he's doing is as detrimental to their existence as they think it is, why would Gad be? Except that Gad can't touch him, so I guess he didn't really have a choice. But
Yeah, and there was also Ing was really overly confident that she can handle things.
oh yeah,
Um,
and she for sure can't.
like she's convinced that she'll be able to put all these old gods down again. And I'm like, dude, you don't have any followers anymore, and most of your allies are dead, and they didn't have vestiges to bring them back. So like,
Yeah,
you ready to solo this? like, um, you're a little overconfident.
yeah. You're
So
basically down to 2 lives, assuming that. Well, maybe 3 if Sixnet counts as a
yeah,
vestige, which I'm not sure if she
yeah.
does.
And who knows where Svala is actually?
Right,
But
she could be dead, but I don't think she is because even Omaskat's like, we need to go save your priestess and Sixnet and the baby, and then we can
yeah,
go from there.
yeah. Also with the interaction with Gad, which was really abrupt and totally took me off guard, and Hessa because she was like swimming naked in the lake when
Right.
it happened.
I love that whole, that was chapter 35, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Or
No,
yeah,
no.
yes, 4 or
No,
5.
it was 34. I love that whole chapter because she's having all these doubts about Aang, and then she has this moment in the with the raccoon encounter, which felt very Miko from Pocahontas,
Yeah, for sure.
stealing food out of her pack. She's naked, trying to get her stuff back from this raccoon, and then she's kind of laughing at the whole scene, which is kind of nice. I'm glad that she had like kind of a moment where she could be a little lighthearted. And then Gad is just there.
Yeah,
But he's totally unbothered by her nakedness. Like he doesn't care, which makes sense if he's a god.
yeah.
It wouldn't be
Hmm.
a big deal to him. But
At first, I thought the raccoon was gonna like steal her high halls food and become like a super coon, like a
I thought that too at first. And maybe it
um
did. Maybe it's already a super coon because when Gad walks away, it hops on his shoulder and tags along.
yeah.
Um,
Didn't know this was a prequel to Sly Cooper.
you wish.
Yeah, that's a deep cut. Anyone remember those games? Anyway, moving on. Um,
But he asks her why she's been releasing the souls of his people from the ground.
mhm,
And you can tell that he's really deeply grieved by the loss of all of the Algat.
mhm.
And Hessa notes it, and she's like, I wonder if Ing felt any grief towards her own people. And then she has this realization that she probably didn't. And what a terrible realization to have about your deity.
Yeah, especially since the Ingi are basically like respawns for Ing. So
Yeah.
she Hessa probably feels just very used and expendable right now. And like yeah,
Yeah.
she has the Ingi fire, and during the interaction with Ing, she actually says like if you do this, if you kill Omaskat, there will be a place for you in the high halls with
Mm-hmm.
Eater once it's all said and done. And she's just kind of trying to it feels like Ing is just trying to um,
Oh,
get
she's.
on good terms with Hessa again, like
Yeah.
super manipulative.
Oh,
Because
yes.
we remember later on, like when Gad is talking to her about releasing the souls and stuff, that she never got to release any of the souls that were in the Hall of Smoke. So Eater is
Mm-mm.
still chilling out in the ground.
Right.
So, like,
Yeah.
Ing had no ground to promise a place in the High Halls with Eater because he's still stuck in the ground.
Right. Well, not only that, but Goddard is. He tells her that he's been going around trying to release his own people, but it's very hard for him. Like, it's very emotional for him to do it. So it's been slow going.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he
And,
went. Well, it could be both. I thought maybe he meant literally like physically difficult.
well,
Um,
maybe. Maybe. But
yeah,
difficult either way. And I doubt that Aang has done the same courtesy for her people.
yeah. I don't think she's
And
got the juice to do it.
well, no, but I also don't think that she has the. I don't think that she
Empathy.
actually loved her people the way
Yeah.
that we see these other god. Like Olden loved the Soldurni,
Hmm.
and Gad loved the Algat. Um, and I just don't think that Aang had that in her. She didn't even love her own son.
She wanted to kill her own
She
son.
she very much wanted him to die
Hmm.
as a baby.
Was
Um,
Gad the one that talks about Ogum, or was that later?
um, that was.
Was that Telios or
Hold on, let me check my notes. I think that was later. I think that was Astiga.
Oh, Stiga? Okay.
thing. Oh, the other big thing that Gad reveals is that he did not command the Algot to destroy the Ingen people.
Yeah.
That was not his intention. And he wanted to make sure that Hessa knew that and that Ing knew that. It was not his
Yeah.
idea.
I think, well, these ARPA people have been, I guess, I mean, their eyes have all gone gray. They're kind of possessed-ish by, it seems, or like charmed or something. I mean, they were zealous before, but they seem off.
Yeah, I was a little confused by that because Hessa comes to the realization that all the colors like drained out of their eyes, and she thinks that they're being controlled by Stiga.
Mm.
But then when she talks to Telios, he tells her that it's when they went beyond the mountains and they saw the grave or the tomb of Lathian,
Mm-hmm.
and being in the presence of Lathian is what drained the color from their eyes.
Yeah, which is similar to what Ashkelon did with the fight with Olden, like draining all the color from the flowers and everything. So it's some weird old god mumbo jumbo stuff.
Right, and it's hard to know if it's Stiga or if Stiga's just along for the ride in this particular situation, has decided that he can benefit from hanging out with this ARPA group for a little while.
I think it's the ARPA's like brutality against the Algat that pushed them south, because they saw what would happen if they stayed up there, and they just fled. Now, as far as like why they started massacring the Ingen people, it might have been like a kill or be killed situation. Like, I guess we're moving out. Time to take out these people so that they don't fight us and we can survive. But, or maybe that we don't really know yet.
No, we don't know. We just know that Gad didn't want that. That wasn't his intention.
Yeah.
Something you said reminded me of something else. What was it?
I was talking about how they all seemed kind of possessed. Like she said, they were working and there wasn't even a cough among them. And so they all seemed kind of zombified, but not like zombies, but just bewitched.
Yeah.
There's some interesting, what's the word? Interesting connections between like the seals on the tomb. Like there were 7 seals and all but one were broken. Interesting connections to like Revelation, like apocalyptic texts, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I saw fun similarities there.
Yeah.
There are also seals in Revelation that get broken.
Right.
I'm just trying to throw things out and hope that something is
I know. I'm sorry. I think it was something with Stiga. Oh. Okay. There's something weird happening with eyes. Because she notices that these ARPA soldiers' eyes don't have any color in them. But before she even meets them, and she's going through these Algot villages, and she's seeing these Algot people that have been brutalized, which she recognizes that doesn't fit what the ARPA usually do. Or it's not what the Algat do. She describes the Algat as being killers, but it's quick. It's not like being tortured. Yeah. And these Algot were clearly tortured, and their eyes are gone. Which is really odd. And then to see these ARPA soldiers with the color drained from their eyes. I don't know. I just think there's something weird going on.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe there's a connection there. Could be. Yeah. And it's just whether or not it was just brutality for brutality's sake, because some of these old gods are just kind of gross.
Yeah, well, yeah.
For lack of a better word, or if it's like maybe some kind of symbolism thing, or there might be some deeper like symbolic meaning to it. I guess we'll find out maybe.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's gross though.
It is gross.
Yeah.
She also she helps free some Algat prisoners that she sees with Arba. Now, was it with the same Arba that she's with now? It was with the other,
Oh, no, the ARPA that she's with now, I
or the
think,
ones
are
that she
the
freed prisoners from.
yeah. I don't think
Okay,
she's met up with her old friend in quotes ARPA. I don't
sure.
think these are have ever been the same ones as them.
Okay.
But
So she does free some Algat prisoners, which that was
mhm.
kind of an interesting interaction because the lady was like, "Why are you doing this? Why would you help us?" Um,
I saw
and
your villages.
yeah,
It's messed up.
I feel bad. This is not how that shouldn't have happened to you guys, basically. And because she had released the souls and been kind to those Algat prisoners, that's why Gad even talks to her
hmm
and like answers some of her questions. He even offers to
Yeah,
take her to the lake, but she declines. Um, but
yeah. And then we do have the creepy shapeshifter god pop up.
Stiga's gross. I don't like them.
Yeah, Stiga's it's pretty gross. I mean, there are some, and they just come out of nowhere too. These gods just have a way of like popping up behind your shoulder and just start talking to you, and it's like, ugh, get out of here,
Yeah.
weirdo. Um, but I think it was, I feel like it was probably Stiga then who revealed the potential danger associated with Ogum.
Mm-hmm.
And made a good point. Like who was just hanging out up north for the longest time, nearby where that tomb for Lathian is. That's where Ogum came from. He was just chilling up north. So basically, and who hates Ing more than her son that tried to kill him, or that tried to kill? She tried to kill him, so he hates her. So it's just interesting. Like, oh yeah, I never. That's a bummer. Ogum might be a traitor and might not have Hessa's best interest at heart. Or maybe he is on Team Hessa and he just doesn't want her to be on Team Ing. You know, it's he strikes me as a very complicated character. If there is some kind of betrayal happening, it seems like the math would check out. He's kind of the rebellious rogue son. So
Yeah. I'm trying to find that section
either way, regardless of like who the conversation was with, it's basically just planted in the reader's minds. Ogum might not be, he might not pass the vibe check. Uh,
oh, it was Omaskat.
it's almost got okay.
Yeah.
So after the Striga stuff, but
Yeah. Because this is when she's like she ends up going out to Omaskat at the lake, presumably to kill him, even though she's come to the realization of two things. She doesn't want to kill him,
mm-hmm.
and Lathian has to be stopped. Like, those are her two resolutions. And she asks him who his god is, which he reveals. I don't know how to say it because it's THV.
Yeah, it was weird in the audiobook too. It's one of the four pillars, one of like the OG deities.
I would guess that you say it Thinder. But the TH and V together is a weird consonant combination for
Yeah.
this English speaker. And she
I mean,
asks,
almost got
like,
he
what?
has that fun interaction of like, oh, you know a little bit more than last time we met,
Yeah,
because she's like name dropping all this stuff like, oh, that's one of the four old gods, and all this stuff like, oh, by the way, I'm divine now. I ate some of the honey from the high halls, and it's just like an interesting, like he can see like how she's developed
yeah,
and grown
which she has a ton.
a lot.
Yeah, so she asks him. Well, he mentions again, like, we need to go rescue Vistik, Sixnet, and Svala, and she's like, oh, Six and Visnet are fine because they're with Ogam, and he's like, Ogam's a traitor. What do you mean? And that
Right.
kind
Yeah.
of sends her reeling. She's like, what? Yeah.
Like he might be working with Lathian. Yeah.
Yeah, he says, who hates Aang more than the son she tried to murder at birth? Who has spent more time beyond the mountains where the banished gods of the old world slept in their tombs than any other? And then she's like, oh,
Dun dun dun.
oh dang.
Aggressively scrubs cheek to try to get the mark off.
Yeah. You are right. Why would he be trustworthy?
Well, to be fair,
But
had she known all this information before about like that's where the tombs of the old gods were, and like knowing
true.
his history, like she's doing the best she can with the information she has.
absolutely. And she's getting a fire hydrant's worth of information through a teeny tiny funnel.
Yeah.
Poor girl.
So, Oga might be a traitor. And they just kind of resolve that they're going to go try to rescue their friends, and she's not killing him yet. So.
Right. She did add a caveat that if she doesn't like the answers to some of her questions, she might still kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Which he is like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, it's interesting because honestly, to me, Omaskat kind of has main character energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, it's like we just got back together with that main character.
Yeah, because he's like on this quest to stop the return of this evil old god, like Lathian, and he is trying to release this god killer, like vague force to try to take him out, and just like this crazy, and he's got like crazy weird eyes, and he's got a pet dog, and it's like all this stuff is like very main character energy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but no, we get to follow Hessa, the recovering zealot, priestess of this pretty problematic deity, and it's just a really interesting lens that the writer chose to tell the story through, compared to just telling it from Omaskat's point of view. Hessa's more interesting, like more crazy stuff has happened to her. But his like overall goal seems very like something you'd see from a main character. But so that's just really interesting to me. It's like now we finally buddied up with the main character, and now like the we can get this plot rolling. We can try to slay some evil gods and stuff.
Yeah. We did have a really cool Omaskat versus Stiga moment right at the end of our last chapter for this section.
Yeah. Because the magics don't work on him.
Yeah, Stiga's pretty mad that Hessa didn't do what she said she was going to do, and so he tries to attack her, and Omaskat turns into like a shield bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And then Stiga runs away, which is fine.
It's got like an anti-magic field.
Yeah, it's like
D&D
we're
spell.
suddenly in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And there's a force field now.
Activate ray shields.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it left off.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about the next chapter, and I want Omaskat to be thoroughly interrogated.
Yes.
Like,
I just want all the answers.
Like, I want a good cop and a bad cop, and I want to milk every little bit of information out of this dude. So I guess we'll see in the coming chapters.
Yes.
Yeah. Which, speaking of, what's the next section?
Well, we only have 2 sections left. We're almost
Whoa!
done. I know. Which means I need to figure out what our next poll is going to be.
Time to make a list.
But we will have that for next week. For next time, you're going to read chapters 37 through 42.
37 through 42.
Mm-hmm.
Same amount of chapters as this section.
Yes.
Very good. Alrighty. I'm excited.
Me too.
Still your favorite? Still up there
Oh,
with
yeah.
your favorites? Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hessa.
I just want answers. But
Right.
Hessa.
And the good news is there's more books after this, so you can always keep going.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, so get on it for next time, dear listener. Get to reading. So until next time, happy reading.
And we'll talk at you next time.
Later.